Hello, trading is closed on the 12th of September 2022. We'll always start with our disclaimer, go over our predictions, and then make some calls for tomorrow. It's my trading plan for Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022. Please remember I can be completely wrong, and any trade you make should be at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this, and tomorrow should also have the early low. We said unless we gapped over Friday's high, we should see lower prices, and we did gap over the high. This is what we said. The gap promptly overtake the high. We had some other ideas. We had an old target, 41.1124, that printed. It isn't just a target, it's a support resistance area. Here it was a strong area of resistance. We also had balance of the waves around 4116.90. That was within 2 and a fraction points of today's high. And the idea remains alive, even though we came close to invalidating it. Hasn't been invalidated yet. All these squiggles were called by MeJT system to be false moves that would retrace, and they already have. This is a pattern which tends to be a rally day. When you gap up, hit these highs, close under all these highs. Don't close near a high, it's a negative. If it's maintained, if it's maintained at tomorrow's open, it's a negative pattern. It should lead to lower prices. It doesn't have to lead to a lower close, but if we don't clear this high early, it should be negative. Of course, what counts isn't today's close, it's tomorrow's open. If this isn't maintained, if we open up here, all that negativity goes away. We won't know that till tomorrow's open. Well, this is the count we have. It isn't the only count. If it's the right count, the fourth wave shouldn't really overlap the first wave. The first wave low was 4119.97. Today's high was 4119.28. So the count remains alive. Of course, it could all change tomorrow. We could go up and kill it tomorrow, but for now it stopped right where it had to stop. So we'll keep this as our preferred count, not the only one. We drew all these fib ratios with our 4116.90 target. Today's high wasn't enough to change any of these ratios in a meaningful way. And the same goes for this. You can even count 5 waves on this last move, although this one I question somewhat. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early low. We could still gap up. Today's normally bullish pattern did not close near its high, so either we gap and promptly overtake the high of the day, or we see lower prices tomorrow. Doesn't guarantee a lower close. The wave count we discussed at the end of last week remains a valid count. We have strong Fibonacci resistance in the area of today's high, and if we reverse from here, there's a legitimate target near 3,700, which could be seen fairly soon. But the Consumer Price Index report comes out about an hour or so before tomorrow's open. It can be a big market mover, and if there's a favorable response, nothing prevents us from gapping up, clearing resistance, and invalidating the current count. Remember, it's not the only valid count. And if you clear resistance, normally there's more to it. So accordingly, I'm looking for follow-through after tomorrow's report. Now, whether or not it's going to be worth trading should depend on the magnitude of the initial response. I mean, if we move 100 handles one way or the other, I'm not certain I intend to risk any money until the risk-reward ratio is more favorable than that. You like to have some kind of a decent stop. But this is resistance. It's held so far. It's been challenged a number of times, which increases the chances we break through it and kill my idea. It's always possible. But I think we're going to know before the open. I think when the report comes out, just about an hour before tomorrow's open, I think there's a reasonable chance we're either going to have a negative response, and this has a good possibility of being the end of the move for the reason we've discussed with much lower targets, or we clear it and that kills the whole idea, and I'm going to have to look for some other number. And I don't have to risk any money on that until I see what the response is. So far, this idea is working, but till the reverses, other ideas may work too. So tomorrow has the early low, and that's today's call.